Today on MTG Unpacked, it's time for the 5,000 subscriber Q&A video. And with me to do the pack blessings, we have Howard the Duck. So we'll be cracking open a Modern Horizons box here in between answering questions. So let's get stuck into it. And hopefully you were able to leave your questions in the video the other day. And another fun milestone has come up. We actually passed 1,000 videos the other day. Craziness! Alright, so let's crack this open. And not sure how many packs we'll get through, but we will do our best to get a decent number. Okay, so let's start off with a single pack here. And then we'll start answering some questions. Alrighty. So let's see, we got an elemental token, very cool. This guy, not quite sure what that is. Whoa, spoilers. This is Soul Herder Seb McKinnon, okay. We get a snow-covered island, I think these are still worth $1. And the rare is Plague Engineer, creature carrier. 2/2 for 3, has Death Touch. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type your opponents control get -1/-1. Alright. And uncommons Shatter Assumptions, Tribute Mage, Llanowar Tribe, and then the commons regular cohort, Spring Bloom Druid, Rank Officer, Knight of Old Benalia, Pondering Mage, Azra's Smoke Shaper, Tornado, Ikite, Goblin Champion, creature Goblin Warrior, 0/1 for a single red, very nice. He will have to be set aside to go in the Goblin collection. Reprobation, and that is it. Alright, so let's move on to the first round of questions here. You Mad Bra 99 asks, how many Funko Pops do you have? Last count was about 375. It's getting a little ridiculous. In case you're not aware, I actually have another YouTube channel called Pop Sideshow. So we unbox all manner of Funko Pops, have some crazy skits and giveaways. So check it out if you haven't already. I'll leave a link to that channel in the description for this video. And his second question is, what is your most valuable card? Okay, so we've got a couple of options here. So we've got a invention here, extra planar lens. So that's foil. We've got a Liliana Dreadhorde General, Japanese version, alternate art, and Scalding Tarn. So all of these, I think they're worth about $100 each at the time of filming. I did have a lot more valuable cards, but those have been sold over the years to pay for content for the channel. So there we go. Next question. Grim Ripper asks, should we wear gloves when opening these packs? So unless your name is Open Boosters, I would say no. A lot of this stuff here is just standard packs, although we do have Modern Horizons, slightly more exotic stuff from time to time, but no $30,000 boxes here. So I would say don't worry about the gloves unless you are Open Boosters. And we have a whole bunch of questions here from Jay Shing. How do you think this YouTuber life has changed you for the better? So I think it's definitely given me a lot more confidence, life in general, for YouTube in particular. And for the worse, I would say you get on a bit of a content treadmill to please the YouTube algorithm. So it's relying on fresh content all the time, and if you slack off, you actually get less recommendations for your videos, your channel will suffer. This is something I've noticed on my other channel if I haven't uploaded in a while. And also I really have no free time, so between the channel and the Patreon for the channel, that chews up all of my spare time. So it's a bit tough to find time to play MTG Arena or catch up on some of my other hobbies, although I do try to make a lot of time for family still. So They do get a little annoyed sometimes with the videos, but usually not too bad. And his second question, how do people react when you tell them you have a YouTube channel where you open packs for viewing pleasure? So it doesn't actually come up very often, but when it does, there's a couple of main questions. How many subscribers do you have? Do you think you'll get one of those plaques, 100,000 subscribers? Maybe one day. And the other question is, how much money do you make? And unfortunately, it is very little. And his third question is most memorable Magic match. So there's a whole bunch of them. I'll have to say the most memorable would be the one where I was playing a rat colony deck, and both myself and my opponent knew it was totally ridiculous, and this thing had been getting its butt kicked all night. But this particular set of games against this guy, it actually worked, and it was totally hilarious. Like, we were just about crying, we were laughing so hard. I mean, I guess you had to be there, but if you've ever played a rat colony deck, you probably know what I'm talking about here. And one more question before we crack another pack. Would you consider selling some of your cards that are not for patrons just to patrons? That way you can ship them with their cards already. So actually a lot of the stuff we open on the channel goes straight to patrons. Any videos that are not specifically for patrons, the cards will end up in the patron snack pack box. And anything higher end or things that I'm looking for my collection, that'll either go in my binder or I will sell or trade those cards. So there's really not a lot left over. It's also a logistical challenge because there's a lot of organization behind the scenes that goes into the videos on the channel that you might not be aware of. So adding selling cards to patrons, that could be a little complicated. So we'll wait and see how that turns out. All right, so let's crack another pack here and then we'll get to more questions. So I think I have about 5 pages of questions, so we'll do like a page of questions, then we'll crack a pack. All right, elemental token. We get this guy on his magic carpet. Snow-covered forest, and the rare is Fallen Shinobi. Creature zombie ninja 5/4 for 5. Has ninjutsu 2, a blue and a black. So that means you pay that, return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. And you get to put this card onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking. Whenever Fallen Shinobi deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana costs. Alright. And a Talisman of Conviction, Lesser Mastercore, Firebolt. And moving on to the commons. Love that artwork. Geomancer's Gambit. Spring Bloom Druid, Arkham's Astrolabe, that's doing some damage in Pauper apparently. Pondering Mage, Rank Officer, Headless Spectre, Nimble Mongoose, Trustworthy Scout, Spell Snuff, and Quakefoot Cyclops. Okay, so that was another pack. Nothing crazy yet, so now we will move on to more questions. Let's see what we got here. So, Amsai Bros, I think that's what it is, says, why are goblins your favorite creature type? So goblins are one of the more ridiculous tribes, always up to mischief, got a lot of silly contraptions and general craziness. So that amuses me more so than any other tribe, I think. So that is why I like goblins. And the artwork is pretty hilarious as well. We get another question here from World War Dragons Gaming. So he has a question. Out of all cards ever released since Magic has been a thing, what is your favorite card out of every card ever in MTG? Okay, so it would have to be this one. So this is Jackalope Herd from Exodus. You may have seen this on the channel now and then, used as wild cards in the Patron Snack Pack box. I just think it's hilarious. We have the Jackalopes here. I'm a bit of a Jackalope fan, as you may have guessed from the playmat and the channel logo. So I think this is a fantastic card, flavor-wise, artwork-wise. but it's not very good if you actually play with it. So there we are. That is my favorite card. Moving on to Jonathan V12. He said, if you could build any commander deck, who would you build other than a goblin one? So I don't really play a lot of commander. I've played very few games of commander, but I would have to say I'd like to build a zombie deck someday. So I think if I could have Liliana as the commander, that would be pretty cool. All sorts of zombie shenanigans and the graveyard synergies there. So I think that would be fun. Jeremy Worden says, my question for you is one everyone has been thinking. Have you found Jace's finger yet? Okay, so Jace's finger. Let's get a look at Jace. As you can see, he's lost some fingers over the years. So this poor fellow, they get tossed in a box rather unceremoniously, and his fingers broke off at some point. I have no idea where they went, so that's very sad. I'd appreciate a moment of silence for Jace here in sympathy. Okay, that's enough. Alright, next up, Mr. Nichols29 says, what was your first set of Magic and what is your favourite set? So my first set was, well, let's see. I started with Amonkhet, and my favourite set is Innistrad. If you're asking what was the first set I bought, it was actually Modern Masters 2017. Ink Junkie 101 has a question. Have you ever thought of live streaming some games on Arena where you challenge some of your patrons? So we've done that a bunch in the past. I hope to do it a bunch more in the future. It's just finding the spare time to do it. As you might imagine, daily videos for 2 years doesn't leave me a lot of spare time, but I'm hoping to pick that up in the future at some point. And one more question before we crack another pack. Lucas Gerard says, how old were you when you started playing Magic? I was an old man. I was 40 years old when I started playing Magic. And you would think that would be sort of strange going to your LGS as a 40-year-old man, but believe me, there are a lot of 30s and 40s people playing Magic these days. So I feel right at home, actually. Alright, so let's crack a pack here. We'll get one from the middle. And hopefully something spicy. Oh, is that a foil construct? So foil tokens are a thing in Horizons. Very nice. We'll make a separate foil pile. We get our ninja here. Snow-covered forest. And the rare is Trust... Oh, no. No, it's not the rare. This is another foil. I was tripped. Okay, and the rare. Okay, here we go. Altar of Dementia. Nice pull. Artifact for 2. Sack a creature. Target player puts a number of cards equal to sacrifice creature's power from the top of their library into their graveyard. Alright, happy about that one. And a Goblin Matron. Creature Goblin 1/1 for 3. Fantastic. Add that to the goblin pile over here. And uncommons, Wing Shards and Exclude. Okay, moving on to commons, Rocks Veteran, Weather the Storm, Winter's Rest, Putrid Goblin. Okay, the goblin collection continues to grow. Nimble Mongoose, First Sphere Gargantua. What the heck am I looking at? Creature Horror, weird. Alright, Ephemerate, Spell Snuff, and Viashino Sand Sprinter. Who's a fan of the Viashinos? Alright, so let's continue on with the questions here. Mark Fernandez asks, can you unbox some welcome decks, MTG Unpacked? Thanks for the video. Yes, I most certainly can. I think the only ones I have on hand are the ones I got from the LGS when I first started playing. So those are from 2017, although I could certainly pick up some 2019 welcome decks. So stay tuned for that in future. Inked Reaper says, congrats on the 1K videos, man. I think Goblin Bird Grabber should have reach, not tap a red and it gets flying. Just my input. Sounds good. My question is, since I'm new to your channel, where are you from? I can't catch your accent. LOL. So I'm originally from South Australia, and people say where? Well, it's one of the states in Australia in the middle section towards the bottom. So that is where my accent is from. And of course, I've been living in the US for many years, probably, what is it, about 17 years now. So that may have done some odd things to my accent over the years. Alright, Lizard God 101 says, face reveal, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, well, I guess some of you are obsessed with the face reveals, so I guess it's time for another one. I have actually revealed my face on many a live stream, but here you go again. Disturbing, isn't it? Okay, next up we have Call Me Legit's YT. What was your inspiration to start YouTube? Who is your favorite YouTuber? So one of the things, I started playing Magic, it was about 4 months, and cracking packs, huge amount of fun, but there was always a little bit of sadness afterwards. You'd crack the packs and you'd get some crazy pulls, but that would be it. So I was hoping I would be able to share my pack cracking goodness on YouTube, and for many years I had wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I had no idea what it would be about. So I thought this would be a perfect way to get started. We'll do a YouTube channel. And also another thing was the quality of the pack opening videos at the time. A lot of blurry cards, you couldn't really read them. So I wanted to do like a higher quality pack opening channel. And actually there's a ton of them these days. I think camera technology and lighting and everything's improved a lot. So there's a lot of pack cracking goodness around these days. And who is my favorite YouTuber? If we're talking Magic YouTubers, I would probably say Rudy from Alpha Investments. There's a whole stack of other channels I watch, but he is probably my favorite, the one I cannot miss a single video. Dawson Haraga asks, what is your favorite Funko Pop that you have opened? Also, keep up the great work on your videos. So I would have to say this guy right here. He was the original that started the madness. I think it was back in 2015, my first Funko Pop, and I've had him ever since, and then it has just gone out of control in recent years, but he is definitely the best. What's your favorite set? Asks Harvey Knutson. So I think I mentioned this before. That would be Innistrad. I just love the flavor of that set, the horror theme, the crazy artwork, just fantastic overall set, I believe. Call Me Legit's YT asks, how did you discover MTG? So this is a bit of an involved story. So in 1998, I was working in Australia, and there were some guys every lunchtime, they would be down in the cafeteria playing this strange card game, and I had a look at it at one point and found out it was Magic the Gathering, but it wasn't really interesting me at the time, so I knew it existed but didn't really do anything with it. Then we flash forward to 2017. I was getting a bit of exercise on the treadmill over many months and watching a lot of gaming videos, and I just so happened to watch Boogie2988. He was cracking open a pack of Magic cards, and I was just amazed by what I was seeing. I couldn't believe the quality of the artwork and the strange variety of cards he was pulling. So that sort of got the hook in there, and then I started playing on the Jules iPad or iPhone version, I think it was, and then the PC. And before too long, I was playing at my local game store. So that's really how I discovered it. And the rest is history. Alright, so let's crack another pack here. And this is going to be a long video, so if you are interested in question and answers, I hope you're enjoying it so far. Okay, we have an illusion token. We get this guy. What's the Thran Physician Yorgmoth? Okay, I should know that by now. Snow-covered island, and the rare is a Goblin Engineer. Creature, Goblin Artificer 1, 2 for 2. When he enters battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your library for a red, tap, sack an artifact, return target artifact card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice! So add him to the Goblin collection. Uncommons, we have Talisman of Curiosity, Tempered Sliver, Zalfaran Decoy, and commons Venomous Changeling, Orcish Hellraiser, Fountain of Ichor, Silumgar Scavenger, Cave of Temptation, Unearth, Winding Way, Enduring Sliver. Who is a fan of the slivers? Moonblade Shinobi and Bogarden Dragonheart. Alright, so that is it for another pack. Back to more questions. Okay, Call Me Legits YT asks again, what card would you take from any set if you had a chance to take one? So if this is talking about adding one to my collection, I would have to say a Black Lotus Near Mint would be fantastic, but alas, I don't think I'll ever own one, but that would be very cool. Salvatore Novello says, great channel and excellent entertainment. My question is, what's your favorite Planeswalker? So I would say my all-time favorite is Liliana. Although I haven't played with that card much in Standard, I'd have to say Chandra is a close second there. Had a lot of fun with the mono-red aggro with Chandra back in the day. And probably third place would be Ajani. Cosmo Federico says, 3 more to go! Congrats! So he's referring to the number of videos before we hit 1,000. How many Funko Pops do you have? So we talked about that before. 375. Favorite MTG block? It would have to be the Innistrad block. A lot of fantastic stuff there, like I mentioned earlier. And he says, Commander, do you play the format? The answer is no. I've played very few games, although I do have a ton of decks that I've opened on the channel over the years. So very interesting, exciting format, but alas, finding the time to play it, and of course my LGS is closed down, so I can't play it anywhere right now. Zion Wilkes asks, do you play Commander, and if so, who's your favourite Commander? So I do not actually play Commander, but I would have to say this guy would probably be up there. So Cranko Mob Boss, legendary creature. I think he would make for a fine Commander. In truth, I have no idea if he is any good in the format or not, so leave a note in the comments what you think of Cranko. And Zion also asks, who's your favourite Funko Pop? So we mentioned this guy previously, and favourite MTG card, which is the Jackalope Herd. Congrats on 5,000 subs, he says. Conscious Man 21 says face reveal and 1 million, so I assume he means at 1 million subs I'll do a face reveal. But you are lucky, I gave you a face reveal today already, so if you go back about 10 minutes, you'll see that. My charming face in all its glory. Shadowfang asks, when did you start playing MTG and collecting MTG cards? So if we go back to early part of 2017 and watching the Boogie 2988 video, started playing then, and I actually started with Modern Horizons 2017, cracked a box of that before the channel was a thing, got a couple of nice pulls. I think I got a Scolding Tarn from what I remember, and so that's when the collecting and playing started. And before too long I was at my local game store playing Armankect. So had a lot of fun with that, did a lot more playing back in the day before the channel started. And Rat Clan asks, what was your first Magic deck? So I'm not quite sure what that would have been. I'm going to say it was either one of the Armankect Planeswalker decks or possibly a mono-red aggro deck that I put together. And it absolutely got slaughtered every time I would play, so not the best deck, but it was how I got started in Magic. Okay, let's crack another pack here. We get another bear. And I think I have one more page of questions after this, and then we'll crack one more pack and wrap it up. Here we get a foil shapeshifter. Very cool. Add him to the foil pile. And this guy, a goblin. So he is Pashalik Mons. We got a Snow-Covered Plains, and the rare is Reap the Past. Sorcery for X, red and green. Return X cards at random from your graveyard to your hand and exile Reap the Past. Okay, so we're not getting terribly crazy pulls today, but I just realized we have not been blessing the packs. So that is why we're going to have this guy on standby. We'll pop him up there so he can bless the packs. Oh, what have I done? All right, Uncommons First Slivers Chosen, Alpine Guide, Birthing Boughs, and the Commons Windcaller Avon, Pyrophobia, Segovian Angel, Mob, Universal Automaton, Bellowing Elk, Gluttonous Slug, Slug Horror, love the artwork on that one, Lava Dart, Martyr's Soul, and Ikite. Alright. Okay, final lot of questions here. Nathaniel Meyer asks, are you enjoying Core Set 2020 so far? And plus, what's your favourite set in 2019? So, yeah, I really think Core Set 2020 is pretty nice so far. Fair improvement over 2019, which didn't really seem that exciting. I only wish I had more of a chance to play it because my LGS went out of business last month, and I haven't been able to play on MTG Arena much lately. As for my favourite set in 2019, I'd have to say Modern Horizons. That's why it's here. Absolutely love what they've done with this set. I like the art cards and the general flavour, so very cool. MTG Hermit asks, congrats on 5,000 subs and 1,000 videos. I want to know if you collect anything other than Magic, and what do you do for work when you're not making videos? I hope that's not too personal, but I'm always curious. Thanks. So one of the things I collect is hobbies. I have so many hobbies, it's sort of ridiculous. I collect, let's see, bonsai trees. I have cacti I collect, old science fiction and fantasy pulp magazines, comic books, and of course Funko Pops, as you might have gathered. And as for what I do for work, so I'm a software engineer, work on software for vehicles. And also, in what little spare time I have, I also write apps for iPhone and iPad. So that keeps me rather busy, as you might imagine. So there you go. All right, next question from Katie. Congrats on the milestone. If you could visit any plane in Magic, which would you choose? So this one, I would have to say I would love to visit Zendikar. If we look at the cards as tourist brochures, the scenery is absolutely gobsmackingly awesome. So I'd like to visit Zendikar. Unfortunately, the wildlife is a little disturbing. Steer clear of the Eldrazi, I would say. All right, and final question here from Superfast Tortoise. What formats do you play in MTG? So I mainly just play Standard. I've played very few games of Commander, 0 games of Modern, although I do have a ton of Commander decks, and I have a Modern Goblin deck that you might have seen me talk about on the Goblin Collection video, so I'll pop a link up in the corner if you want to check that out. And his second question, with all the product you open on your channel, do you own or plan to build a cube? So actually, I have very little spare time to even think about building a cube. A lot of the cards go straight to patrons or I sell them. So my collection is mainly a huge amount of bulk. I have not considered building a cube, but leave a note in the comments what people have done as far as the cube format, how you find that. And that wraps it up for the questions. So let's have one final pack here. This time, we're actually going to bless it, and that explains why we've been hosed most of this video, but we shall see on this final pack. Okay, so we get a soldier token, get a whole bunch of hands. Let's put that over there. Snow-covered mountain, and then I'm going to slow roll it here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3... there, yep, okay, so let's go through the commons first. Mind Rake, Manowar, Knight of Old Benalia, Cleaving Sliver, Excavating Anurid, what the frog beast, okay, Spore Frog, Unearth, Ephemerate, Choking Tethers, Bladeback, Sliver, and that is it. Moving on to the uncommons, we have Munitions Expert, Creature Goblin, 1/1 for 2 in the Rakdos colours. Add him to the Goblin collection. Vespelark and Tribute Mage. Okay, and the big finish here is Marit Ledger's Slumber. Legendary Snow Enchantment for 2. Whenever it or another snow permanent enters battlefield under your control, scry 1. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, sack it. If you do, create Marit Lege, a legendary 2020 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible. Craziness. Alright, so that was the final pull here for this video. And thanks for watching all this time, all the support on the channel, greatly appreciated. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for more Magic the Gathering unboxings, and be sure to tap the notification bell to be notified as soon as new videos are released. Thanks for watching and have a great day.